What's up, guys? George back again to do another Blu-ray review. This one is for the long overdue Poughkeepsie tapes. Filmed in late 2006. Was supposed to be released in 2007 by MGM. However, it was pulled off the shelf after, it was pulled off the schedule after MGM was having some, having some money issues back then. But, it was like 5 weeks out from the actual release date of the film that it was pulled off the schedule. There was actually a trailer running during other movies for this film back then. I was one that saw it. I thought it seemed interesting to me, and then it disappeared for a long time. Supposedly it was on DirecTV pay-per-view a couple years back, and again was for some reason yanked off of the on-demand pay-per-view portion of DirecTV. I don't know why the story with that is, but anyway, 10 years later, we finally get it on Blu-ray. We get an official release of it. It's been making the bootleg rounds for years. Never bought it on a bootleg tape. I always figured it would come out. Didn't realize it would take 10 years, but it's here. Pretty much director John Dowdle's debut. He went on to direct like Quarantine and Devil and a couple other ones, I think. As Above, So Below. But I believe this was his first film, him and his brother. Pretty much, it's a found footage film, basically documentary, faux documentary about a serial killer in the Poughkeepsie area that filmed everything on these videotapes. And after he was, not that he was found, but after his house was found, that he was doing these killings, they found all these tapes. There was a ton of these tapes. So basically a documentary follows the law enforcement and FBI going through all these tapes, showing some footage from the tapes. Pretty creepy. You really get like you really go into the mind of the serial killer that was doing all these killings. Weird, wacky killing, kind of like Jack the Ripper style killings. The first part of the movie talks about the tapes. The second part talks about like trying to find him and his calling card and his style of murders. And then the last part of the film follows the one survivor that he kept alive for, I forget how long it was. It was a while, like 7 years maybe, something like that. She was pretty much his slave in this dungeon of terror, really, in his house. But pretty killer film. I'm glad I waited. I didn't want to watch the bootleg ones for some reason, probably because they look like shit or something. And this doesn't look like a modern film. It's gritty. It's obviously like the FBI parts, the interview parts of the documentary look modern. They're fine looking, nice and clear. But a lot of the VHS footage taken from the actual tapes are gritty looking, which really plays into the whole movie. It gives it that feel that it's real. While I was watching this, my daughter and my son, the twins, they didn't watch it with me, but they would come through the room and stop and watch a segment of it, and both of them were like, looked at me, they're like, is this real? And I'm like, no, it's a fake documentary. But I'm glad it's out. I'm glad I finally saw it after all these years. It's definitely worth a watch, for sure. I would suggest this to anybody. Because it's like, that found footage and documentary style together. It's not all found footage. But I think this came out a little while. I guess it's been it was filmed like maybe almost 8 years after Blair Witch. So there wasn't too many of these found footage documentary style films at the time. Now there's a ton of them. But I would say that this one's one of the ones that started it all. Unfortunately, I think it would have done a lot better if it come out when it was supposed to. Still don't know why MGM sat on it for so long. But I noticed they're not even listed on the back of this thing. I mean, it was put out by Scream Factories, the Scream Factory line through Shout Factory. So you get the DVD and Blu-ray in this. No alternate cover. No, it's just a regular picture in there. But it has Orion. Unless Orion took over MGM, I have no idea. But it's a Region Zero, so it should play everywhere. But yeah, I really liked it. It was cool. The only things on here as far as special features go, you get the interview with writer and director John Dowdle, and his brother Drew, and actress Stacy Chosky, and a theatrical trailer. Stacy Chosky, I think, is the chick that was the one he kept alive for so long. But really good DVD, Blu-ray, nice release. I would suggest picking it up if you haven't already. Mine was delayed. Wouldn't be this movie if it wasn't delayed from the release date of last week. I think it was out last Tuesday, which was the 6th or something like that. Or the 8th, I forget, but of October. But I didn't get mine. I pre-ordered it, but they didn't send it until this week, which is today's the 18th. I got it on Monday, the 16th. So, but I would suggest picking this up. It's definitely a pretty killer film. Anyway, that is it. Follow me on Facebook and Twitter, and I'll see you all next time. Peace.